people usually don't understand the importance of whatever we have learned until and unless they see the actual interview questions, right? So let me move to some interview questions and I'll cover newer concepts as we move along. So what is the difference between a list and a tuple? So first of all, what is a list? What is a tuple? So a list is a very simple list. Basically, it is where you list some data together, right? Lists are mutable, which means that they can be edited, right? We can edit lists. Lists are ordered, which means that 1, 2, 3, if we write 10, Chelsea, and 20, this is a list. This will not be equal to Chelsea written first, then 10, and then 20. So lists are ordered. On the other hand, sets are not ordered. If we write a set, right? If we write a set, this one, this is not ordered. This is not ordered, right? So I was talking about lists. Lists are slower than tuples. This is the computational part, and this is the example of a list. So we have an integer type of data here, and we have a string type of data here. Chelsea is a word, is a string type of data, and this is again an integer type of data. So a list is again, it is a structure in which we can list down data very simply. What is a tuple? Tuple is extremely similar. I till the last few months, I was not, the difference was not clear to me, and that was when I studied lists and tuples in detail, and I realized that there's a whole lot of difference in both of them. The first one being that tuples are immutable. We cannot edit tuples. So these are just like lists, but we cannot edit them. And tuples are faster than lists, right? This is the computational part. You need not worry about this as of now. Okay. What is the syntax? It's very similar to the that of a list. Can anyone identify the difference? The only difference is the fact that this uses round brackets and this uses uh, square brackets. And this picture also shows you also tells you something about sets. So sets can be changed. You can edit the set, but these are not ordered, right? And indexing, slicing, duplicate elements. Uh, Set does not have all this functionality. You cannot index it. So when I talk about indexing, I mentioned that you cannot get this name if this was a set, right? If this was a complete set, then you cannot get this part without or let's say this was a set. Let's take the names, a set of names. So if you write if you simply want to get this name using the index 2, you cannot get it in a set, but you can get this in lists and tuples, right? And you cannot have duplicate elements in a set, but you can have duplicate elements in lists as well as tuples. I think you might not have 100% understood this, but even if you have a fair idea, if you've understood it 50-60%, it is all right, because you would anyway have these slides with you. And this is not the purpose of this session, is not to tell you everything in Python and make you a master in Python, machine learning, data science. But the purpose of the session is to get you started, to at least tell you what you need to study, right? Okay. Since I mentioned the differences between tuples and sets, let me take you into the entire universe of these things, of listing down data. So lists, tuples, sets, and dictionaries. I think I would just want to cover two main differences. A list is mutable. We can make any changes in the list. A tuple is unmutable. We cannot make any changes in the tuple. So if you have this tuple, right, cannot make any change here. But if you have a list, you can edit this list anytime. Then if you talk about a set is again mutable. We can always change this set. This is every one of you have studied sets in much detail in your 11th and 12th and even before that. So this is just like that normal set. And a dictionary is again mutable. You can edit this. You can edit a dictionary. What is the difference in defining all of these? This uses square brackets. I mean, a list uses square brackets. Tuple uses round brackets, and the other two use curly brackets. And it can be a set can be created using a set function. A dictionary can be created using a dict function. The second difference I want to cover here is the fact that it is ordered. A list is ordered. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not equal to 1, 2, 4, 3, 5. So we cannot change the order here. Again, tuple is also ordered, but a set is unordered. And you know this fact, right? We can mention 5 in front of 1, right? 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then also it will be the same. So a set is unordered. Set is basically the only data type which is unordered. Dictionary is again ordered. So set is the only thing that is unordered. I think other than that, you can read yourself. We don't have a lot of time, and I want to at least cover some significant ground here in Python. I'll just I'll just talk about one more difference. List allows duplicate elements, so you can have two ones, you can have two threes, but and a tuple also allows duplicate elements, but a set will not allow duplicate elements. Set you know very well. So and a dictionary will again not allow duplicate elements. So dictionary is a bit more complicated than the other three. You also have keys along with dictionaries. Uh, I should leave this as food for thought. I want you people to understand what is a key in a dictionary. Okay, let me cover this here only. So in dictionaries, right? If we talk about a dictionary, this is a dictionary. This code is for a dictionary. So when we talk about dictionaries, we have key value pairs. This is the value and this is the key. So D is the dictionary. I have defined dictionary like this. This is an empty dictionary, right? Is everyone with me? Let me get everyone with me first. Um, there are some questions, but is everyone with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Perfect, perfect.
Yes, sir.
So I'm
Yes, sir.
taking up the
Yes,
concept
sir.
of dictionaries here. I'm explaining dictionaries here, and I want you to understand this very clearly. So I have defined dictionary D. D is the name of the variable basically, and D equal to an empty set. So if we talk about dictionaries, there's a key value pair. Five is this is the value. This string value is the value, and five is the key. So whenever I mention D5, it will display 5 to me. Whenever I mention D10, it will display 10 to me. You can change these values, of course. I mean, this is just an example. So if you print dictionary D, then it will what will it show you? It will show you both these things. If you print D5, then it will show you only 5, right? If you want to if you want to delete this particular thing and now you print D, it will only show you 5 because now the dictionary has only 5, right? Very easy concept. So first what we did was we stored 5 as this number. I mean, this 5 key was the value stored in this key was 5 and the value stored in this key was 10. So first we stored these values and then we printed these values. So it will display 5 then the entire word here and then it will display 10. So it will display both these values. Both these are values, not the key. And again, now I remove 10. Now it will only display 10. It will not display 5 because, sorry, I mean, it will only display 5. It will not display 10 because 10 has been deleted. I think this is clear. This is very simple. You can spend some time on it. And I'll also, since I've covered the code for dictionary, I'll also briefly cover the same for tuple as well. So tuple can be defined like this: t equal to tuple L, and we can print this tuple. T is the tuple basically, and L is the basical. This is I'm not sure if this is one. This is one, I think. Whatever this is the value that we are storing in the tuple. right? Then we have a set. So we have added the number 5 to the set here. We have added the number 10 to the set, right? And now we print the set. So what will the set display? 5 and 10. This is the set, curly brackets here, 5 and 10. Now we remove 5. It will remove 5 from the set and 5 will get displayed here. Sorry, and 10 will get displayed here because 5 is removed, only 10 is left. I think this makes a lot of sense. And if we talk about lists, instead of adding, we use the word append. So we are appending 5 to the list. I'm making a mess of this slide, I know, but please bear with me. Yes. So we are adding the element 5 into the list. We are adding the element 10 into the list. And when we want to remove that element, then we do pop. The pop operation is used to help remove that element. And it will remove the element which we have added at the end. So it will remove that element and print the final list, right? So this is a Python program for explaining the use of lists, tuples, sets, and dictionaries. I think this is very helpful for all of you. Um, okay, we have around 5 to 7 minutes left, and I have about 3 more slides to go before I end the session. So just bear with me. I'll speed up the things here. So what are Python modules? Name some commonly used built-in modules in Python. So what are Python modules? These are files containing Python code, right? These are files which contain Python code. And a Python module is a .py file. This is the extension, .py extension. This contains executable code. So when you run this file, all the code that is written in the file will get executed, right? Some of the commonly used built-in modules are sys, math, random, data time, JSON, etc. So suppose you want to use power, you want to find out the value of 10 to the power 7, or let's say 3 to the power 19. Let's say you want to find out the value of this. So you can directly use this built-in module, Python module, that is math module, the math module. And within the math module, there would be some function like the power function or something. You can use math.power to find this value in one line. That is the power of Python. These built-in modules and the libraries, these help you use the code which has already been written at some point, right? I think this makes sense. The favorite interviewer question, if you're sitting in a data science question, and if we talk about Python, then within Python, the favorite interview question is the Lambda function. Does anyone know the Lambda function beforehand? Like, yes, math.pow 3, 19 is correct. Size of the dictionary is 2 in that example that I gave you, 5 and 10. Okay. Dictionary has key value pairs. Yes, dictionary has key value pairs, and that was, I explained that. Index starts at 0. They are stored in the way you entered them, and you can call them by index. Correct. Ordered. So ordered. I think at this point of time you have clarity in your mind that what is ordered. So you, I think you will have some clarity there. Um, I think I have answered all your questions. If a list needs updating elements frequently, yes, then don't make a tuple. Make it mutable. Make it the any mutable object type like a list or something. Okay, I think I have I've answered some of your questions. Okay, let me cover lambda functions quickly. So we still have time. So what are lambda functions? It is basically a function which helps you write long pieces of code within one line. So suppose you want to let's say add 5 and 6. So you want to add 5 and 6. So I how do I write it? Let me write it in the chat box. So for adding 5 and 6, I'll define a function which takes two variables as input, that is x and y. And I'm writing this here in the chat box. Z equal to x plus y. Yes. So define def is for define, and add is the name of the function. X comma y is the variable that I'm taking in the I'm taking in this program, and I've defined a new variable z, which will sum both of these numbers and will print the sum of the numbers. I will print z after this, right? So instead of writing, yes, return z is can also be used. Perfect. Return z totally fine. So define instead of defining the function in 3 lines, let me define it within 1 line, and that is where lambda function comes into picture. See this lambda function: a is equal to lambda x comma y semicolon x plus y. Now this is a 1 line definition of the function. So whenever I run a 5 comma 6, it will simply print 11. So basically, this is a 1 line definition. It is a shorthand way to write a function in Python. I think this is clear. I think everyone has understood this. And next time you crack the company in which this question is asked, then please do remember me, because this is an important question that is usually asked. An anonymous function is known as a lambda function. So this is an anonymous function. This function can have any number of parameters, but it can have just one statement. So this is the syntax. This is the syntax of a lambda function. So lambda is basically the keyword, a is the argument, and this is the 1 line expression. Suppose I'm writing a function for multiplying two numbers, then this is f is basically the final function which multiplies both the numbers. This is a function object that accepts and stores the result of the expression. The expression here is a into a. I think this is clear. This is an advanced interview question, the generator function. So I'll just quickly cover this. So functions that return an iterable set of items are called generators. We are suppose we are defining a function which yields 3 numbers. So basically, this is the function that is this simple generator fun is the function that is returning 3 items, right? This is returning 3 items. It is an iterable set of items that is being returned, and for that we can use a generator. So it is just defined like a normal function. Def simple generator is just defined like a normal function, but whenever it needs to generate a value, it does so with the yield keyword. So a yield keyword is always used with this function instead of using the keyword return. So usually we use return to display the final value, but with this function we use yield keyword. Um, all right. Okay, this person, I think you must have seen this person. Some of you might have seen this person on LinkedIn. He has about 2 lakh plus followers, and this was around 2-3 months back when I clicked this picture. So he asked this, he put this poll on LinkedIn: what is the best tool for data science? And if you see here, right, Python, 70% of the people voted for Python. And when I'm talking about the size of this, the sample size for this voting, this polling thing, it has 7,700 people. So, although this is not a very representative sample, but if you notice, right, there's a clear majority of people, of companies who use Python for data science. And that, which is why I took up the Python session today. And I'm very sure that some of you have learned a lot about Python, and you will be taking this up. You'll be taking more courses and more projects in Python. So, what is the best skill to learn for the future? Data science. This is another poll. This person does a lot of polls, and posts a lot of material for data science. So you might want to you might want to check the person out. Okay. Um, some action items for the for our next meeting. Try to write code in Python. I have introduced the basic libraries. We've covered some interview questions as well. We've covered the differences in lists, tuples, sets, and dictionaries. We've understood what are data frames, right? We've understood a number of things today, and this is probably a lot for one session. I'll not cover any further. A very good way to continue this learning, continue learning Python, is doing courses on Udemy, Coursera, and many other platforms that are there. Even YouTube, right? YouTube is YouTube has wonderful videos for Python. So another way to take this up is college courses. So you might want to know. I know that every IIT has courses that are linked to Python in some way. Uh, okay, there are some questions. Where to code? I think you can use Google Colab to start with. You just open your college email ID and go to collab.research.google, right? .com, of course, and you'll get this website, and you can directly start writing code. Uh, okay, software to be downloaded. No, if you want to use Jupyter Notebook, then you need to download the software. But if you are using Google Colab, then you don't need to download any software. That is there. Um, okay, Harshit Vashisht is might be some famous people on you person on YouTube. I am not very aware, but feel free to try. Okay, generator function. Very briefly, it is basically it is basically a function that returns a set of items, and this set of items is iterable. Like you can you can return more than one items. You can return a fixed number of items, and you can return more than one items. And we use the yield keyword rather than the return keyword. I think this is the only thing that you need to take away from this slide here, and you can continue learning from other places. Uh, okay, let me first cover this part. So you also can take up projects. Projects can be taken up under your professor or in other colleges, other IITs, even foreign universities. Or Coursera has also come up with live projects. You also have live projects on analytics Vidya, or I'll write the names so that you people remember. Data Flare is also a good website for projects. Oh, sorry, Data Flare is the name, right? You can take up live projects uh, on kdnuggets.com is another website. Then we have a website which is famous for hosting competitions, right? So there are a number of websites where you can do projects in Python. And there are very interesting applications of machine learning in Python, like fake news detection, predicting the weather, forecasting a lot of things. All that is there, right? And then you can another thing that you can do is read about tools like Excel, Tableau, all the tools that we will be covering on later, right? And one very important thing that I would request you to do is just go back home and maybe just read about maths and statistics. Just read the very basics of stats, right? Um, okay, I'll just wait for one more minute. I'm floating a poll. So on a 1 to 5 scale, um, one being the lowest and two being five being the highest, just rate the session in terms of how much did you learn, and how helpful this session was for you. So just do that, and then I think we'll be done. Then you can so just open the poll from the right side of your right bottom corner of your screen. there's this activities button. Just open that and poll and do the fill in your responses. All right. Sneak peek of the next session. We'll be covering some maths and statistics, right? And this will again be very interesting. This is again going to be interesting. We'll be covering some mathematical terms, statistical terms like normal distribution. We'll be understanding how normal distributions look like, right? We will be understanding some concepts which are extremely important for economics, econometrics, finance, quantitative analysis, statistics, maths. So these concepts are extremely important for a variety of career options or fields in general. So don't miss this session and make sure you make sure you make yourself available for this session. Perfect. I think we are good to go. I would just request some of you to turn on your cameras in some of our sessions, and we will be happy to click some screenshots and share on social media. Rishabh, are we good to end the session?
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys. There are still 330 students. Okay. Uh, okay, guys. See you in the next session.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. I know
Thank
it
you,
has
sir.
been heavy for some of you. So for data science, I think Python is more important than C or C++, answering Hitesh's question. And yes, I'll definitely share the PPT.
Uh,
All right. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the session and looking forward to
Thank you,
seeing
sir.
you
Thank you,
again
sir.
very soon.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.